All right, so continuing on from the previous video where we discussed about the interfaces, now let's start writing our contract. So as we discussed, we've created an interface and we're going to implement all these functions inside our contract. And this is our contract. So I'm calling my contract block. And this contract is using the interface ERC20. So this interface is defined above. And this contract is essentially using this interface, which essentially means that I'm going to write the implementation of each and every function inside my contract called block. Now, for an ERC20 token, we need the following as baseline: the name of the token, the symbol of the token, the decimal values. We'll talk about this towards the end, and we've covered it off in a previous video. The address of the founder. So for instance, this is my contract. I'm deploying it. I'm the message.sender for this address. So my address. The mapping, this is essentially your bank account information. So when you're talking about mapping data type, this is essentially the amount inside a particular account. So for example, you have your account number and an amount inside it. You have another account number and an amount inside it. So consider this smart contract as a bank, right? And inside a bank, you are keeping a track of how much each person holds inside his account. So if I'm a bank, this is my smart contract for a bank, or a smart contract for an ERC20. So giving it the analogy of a bank, I need to store which account holder has how much tokens inside his accounts. So this is what I'm going to use this mapping for. And then obviously I've got some total supply. And we'll talk about this as we set that. After that, then I've got a mapping, another mapping, and this is going to be an interesting mapping. I'll give you a brief overview of it now, and then we'll discuss it in more detail later as we write the function. But this mapping is like, consider inside a bank, you've got some amount inside your bank account, and you write a check to somebody, and that somebody can go and encash that check on your behalf. So you essentially give somebody the permission to withdraw or to transfer funds on your behalf, right? So this is something, this analogy is similar to that. So for that, we've got this allowed mapping. So we've got two mappings over here. One is the allowed mapping and the other is the balances mapping. So we'll use them in our functions and then we'll see how we go. So with that quick overview, let's start entering some basic information of our ERC20 contract. So we are going to give it a name. Let's give it a symbol. We'll give it some decimal places. So we'll fill up some basic information in the next video, and then we'll start writing each and every function one by one. So with all of that and more in the next lesson.